Hey Steve, how you doing? I'm Joshua Ryan with FandomWire.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Good. I'm loving the Creature Commandos poster back there. It's looking cool.
There we go.
So, obviously, I did watch Peacemaker last night. The season finale is out.
Yep.
Very excited to talk to you. So,
Yeah.
I know there was a huge, we all know, continuity change up when James Gunn came in, took over. It was a lot of out in with the new.
Yeah.
Was there a time where you were like not in the know whether you guys were going to continue? Did you kind of have the heads up? You guys are good. We're going to work it out. Or were you kind of like, are we done?
Oh, as far as like going on with like a third season or something?
Well, going into the second, just because we were kind of
Oh.
getting rid of the old stuff, and
Oh,
James Gunn
yeah,
was kind of
yeah.
starting new.
No, it was I that's a great question. I'm like the least knowledgeable with all this comic book stuff and superhero stuff. Even with the TV stuff, I kind of just get a call saying, "Hey, we're doing another season. Come on in." And I'm
Right.
like, "Great." So I don't know any of like the drama and the fan theories and stuff like that and the retconning and all that. I'm like, I don't even know what those words mean.
Right.
But I know that when we were shooting season one, it I could tell that it was one of the best times James was ever having. Like he loved doing it so much. So, and it did really well on HBO.
Right.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, when something does so well, they kind of have to do another season. So I kind of figured a second season would happen. Didn't I mean, I've been doing this for so long that I stopped making predictions years ago. Like I've done shows where it's like, we're definitely doing another season. This was great. And then it just
Right.
going away. So I'm just like, yeah, we'll see. I would love to do one. And if you want to do one, I'm in. So yeah, it's kind of been like that. But yeah, it ended up being like one of the best experiences this second season. Like I had a blast and it did really well.
So, how much of season two script did you get like up front? Was a lot of this kept secret? Because I know James Gunn was being pretty secretive, about this season.
We got all the scripts at once. Some of the actors didn't get all the scripts. Like David Denman, who played Peacemaker's brother on Earth X, did not get like the last script. I don't even know if he got the first. Stuff that he wasn't in, he didn't get. Um,
Right.
I got them all. There was some redaction in some of the scripts I've got. I didn't know about Lex Luthor. That
Okay.
in that script episode, I think it's six.
Mm-hmm.
The whole script's there. It's just there are giant scenes that are completely blacked
Yeah.
out, and I was like, "Ooh, what's happening here?" And then I think the only other thing that was redacted might have been Salvation, like the
Right.
planet or the world that Peacemaker
The
ends up
dimension,
in
yeah.
at the end.
How much a lot of your character, his comedy just comes from the things he says. He's spouting things. I think in the last episode there was even like a little post-credit thing where you were still continuing on with this joke you were telling. How much of what you say is improvised? Or are you allowed to improvise?
Well, we're allowed to improvise when James says, "Yeah, just say something here." Most of what you see is written. That scene that you're talking about in the finale, where I'm trying to distract everybody in the
Hmm.
room, the baseball stuff was all written by James. Like, "Hey, did you catch that prawns game?" Because I didn't know the prawn, like I didn't know any of that, and
Right.
so that was written. But once she says, "Tell him a joke," that was all improvised. So you are really watching me struggle to think of a joke and I honestly fail. I mean, that's actually the comedy in that episode. But you know, I couldn't. I don't make up like I'm not. I am a comedian, but my jokes are
Right.
nothing like, "Hey, a lobster walks into a bar." That is all me literally struggling and then just kind of giving up and going. Lobsters, I heard, are immortal, but they grow out of their shells and get crushed. That's what kills, which I think is actually true.
I was gonna ask, is that something that you've actually heard? Is that true?
Yeah,
I have
I've
no
heard
idea.
lobsters would live like we don't even know, like sharks or stuff, like we don't even know how long
Right.
lobsters could live, but their shells eventually stop growing and they stop molting them and it kills them. That and like fishermen kill them. But
Right.
the other one, the end credit scene, that was all improvised too, except for the part where Bonnie, the girl who starts laughing in the room, like
Hmm.
uncontrollably, James was like, "Oh my God, Bonnie, I want you to start laughing uncontrollably." And me kind of being really stoked by that was all improvised. But yeah, other than that, it's usually, pretty written.
There's a lot of funny people in the show, a lot of funny quips. Is it ever hard to stay in character? Who breaks the most? Is there somebody who just has a hard time getting through it?
Um, Freddie breaks a lot. Danielle breaks a lot. Um, I was breaking a lot working with Tim Meadows. I had
Yeah.
known Tim for years before. We'd just never worked together, and it has always been kind of like a goal of mine to work with Tim, and he did not disappoint. Like all that stuff, in the van the first time we meet was so funny. I couldn't keep a straight face. The stuff where I spit in his face. God, there was, he's just naturally funny. So a lot of that
Right.
stuff I was laughing at. Usually I'm pretty good at being able to hold it in.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were really excited when he joined the cast and he comes in with those like bird blindness jokes.
Oh,
Everybody was loving it. Great
so
addition.
good. It's so funny because I got a lot of text messages after that episode aired and friends going, "I'm really embarrassed, but I had to Google to see if bird blindness
Yeah, a lot of people did.
was real." And I was like, "Really? You think someone can't tell the difference between a hummingbird and a duck? That's crazy."
I know you said you're not a huge comic book guy. So were you familiar with the character of Peacemaker, or did you know whether your character Economos was in the comics? Because I didn't even know that. I looked it up, and apparently he is a small character in the comics.
No, I knew. I don't know how long. It was a while before we did the Suicide Squad, but I
Hmm.
was hanging out with James and he said, "I'm going to do the Suicide Squad." And my first reply was, "I don't know what that is."
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's for DC and it's a comic and it's a bunch of kind of meta humans, largely villains who are under the orders of Amanda Waller." And they kind of have to do missions, and it's a group. And at this, oh, actually, I did know because at this point, David Ayer's
Oh yeah.
Suicide Squad had come out, and so I was like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, he's just like, "I want to do it where," because he said in the comics, you know, you never know when someone is gonna die. Like it's the Suicide Squad. Like people
Hmm.
have to die, and so that's why he did that whole opening where like
Right.
all these Nathan Fillion and Flula and Jai Courtney came back and like he
Hmm.
just killed them off because like that's the whole purpose of the Suicide Squad is they're expendable. So I knew a little bit about them and he said I'm gonna have a character in there called King Shark who's in the comics and he's like a big shark that has legs and walks and talks and he's like, I want you to do it because do the motion capture because you're like my tallest friend, and this is a giant shark. And he's like, I need somebody with some comedy chops. So he's like, I would love it if you would do that. And I was like, absolutely. And then he said, and there's another smaller part of it of a computer tech guy named John Economos, which was kind of just a one-off, like it was a really minor, just
Right.
character. In the comic books, I did a little research. He was the warden of Belle Reve Prison.
Yeah, I just learned that today. I looked it up.
And all that you really know is that he was the warden and that he had multiple ex-wives. So that's all I knew. Yeah, I'm really ignorant when it comes to comic book stuff.
So in the show, uh, Chris Peacemaker is largely viewed by the people around him, not necessarily his core group of friends, but by a lot of people and himself as like a failure or a screw up or somebody who can't do things right. How do you think Economos like views Peacemaker? What is Economos's thoughts on Chris?
Well, clearly in the first season, he fucking hated him. He thought he was a bully. He was constantly calling him dye beard, which by the way, my
Right.
beard is dyed today. I did a TV interview and I was
I was
like,
gonna ask.
can we get some of the gray out here?
It looks good.
But yeah, like he relentlessly is bullying Diebeard, and that's like there's no world where that's okay. Like that's punching down. And
Right.
so that first season, like he hated him. And even now, like the events, like that whole first season became like Band of Brothers, where it's like these are a bunch of people with nothing in common, but they are forced into this world to work together. And just the trauma of that makes people bond. And that's how the 11th Street Kids were born. And he kind of had this family. And I think even now he's still a little bit like, "Ugh, that's my friend, but goddamn, he was a dick to me, you know."
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think he views Peacemaker, well, he clearly views him as a friend and family, although he probably doesn't admit it to a lot of people.
Right. So, do you know, or are there any plans for Economos to come back? Are there plans for a season three? Because this season, I know, has also been extremely popular.
Yeah, it's so funny. Towards the end, I was getting the last few episodes, I was getting a lot of texts from like friends and stuff going, I swear to God, you better not die. Economist better not die. And I was like, I never even saw that as like something that was like foreshadowed or it seemed like I was ever gonna die. Um, I get a lot of please don't kill Eagly. Like everyone is just
Right.
like, and then there's that episode where, you know, Michael Rooker shoots the eagle and people thought it was Eagly, and a lot of
Right.
people were like really kind of fucking upset by that. But yeah, I don't, I definitely, James is not done with a lot of these characters. I mean, we don't know what's happening, you know, after this season because he's just expanding the world, you know,
Hmm.
with Salvation and Checkmate. I have a feeling, you know, we'll probably see us in Checkmate. I mean, it seemed like a clear setup in the finale. Um, but yeah,
Right.
you're definitely going to see more of Economists.
Well, I think I have time for one more question. And I know you said
Sure.
you don't know a lot of superhero stuff, so I don't know how much I can get out of you on this one. But if
Yeah.
there was another superhero that you would like to see Economos interact with the way that you do with Peacemaker, is there one that you would have a goal of being on screen with?
Yeah, yeah, Batman. I I
Batman.
I'm, you know, it's like I said, I'm ignorant with comics, but the ones that I do know anything
Uh-huh.
about are Superman, Batman, like Spider-Man. And I've loved like almost every iteration of Batman going back to like the Adam West crazy because I was a
Right.
kid back then and it was like so cartoony and weird and kind of fun. And then, the Val Kilmer and the Michael Keaton and the George Clooney, all those, I was like, they were still like very fantastical and crazy. And then when Christopher Nolan kind of rebooted it, I was like, holy fuck, this is genius and so dark, especially The Dark
Hmm.
Knight. I was like, wow, this makes it so much more real. And, even with Zack Snyder, I thought Ben Affleck was great as Batman.
Yeah.
And and Pattinson, like I love Batman. I'm just a huge
Uh-huh.
Batman fan. So I would love to, God, I would love for Economist to somehow interact with Batman.
That would
That's a
be a
bucket.
hilarious interaction, I imagine
I
as well.
agree. Like the new Alfred is Economist. Um, yeah, I mean that's bucket list for me is Batman.
Well, I hope it happens for you.
Yeah.
And thank you for talking with me. You were great to talk to.
Oh,
I
thanks,
really
man.
appreciate it. And
Anytime.
yeah, I hope to see you in something again soon.
You and me both, man. Have a
All
great
right.
weekend.
See you. You too.